What is going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a playtest of the Umbro Tocco 4 Pro, or Tocco 4 Pro, you tell me in the comment section below. I'm out at a FG pitch, which I am so excited for. These are a boot that I think have a lot of potential with one or two major drawbacks. So without further ado, guys, let's hop into it. All right, here we go with the Tocco 4 Pro. So this is a boot that I think is very exciting for a couple different reasons. Now, they've made some really nice touches to this boot that I think are sort of a level above some of the competition, which is the leather in the forefoot, synthetic here in the midfoot for extra lockdown. Now, what they've done with this boot is, obviously, if you haven't seen my review, go check that out first. But the idea is that you put leather basically way further back so that this entire striking surface is this beautiful K leather, really, really soft, really plush. So the further you put it back here on the midfoot, the better it is from the transition between the synthetic and the leather, which is something that I've spoken about in a couple different videos that kind of frustrates me about some pairs of boots in this category, simply because the striking surface is a little bit uneven, and you sort of have to adapt around the boots, which obviously is not something that you want to think about during a training session or a game. So overall fit straight out of the box. Obviously this is the second time or third time, I guess, including the short that I put together up on my Instagram of these. So I haven't worn them too much simply because I've had so much stuff to test recently, but I am pretty impressed with these. Now the heel area is the one thing that I think is going to be the downfall of this boot. It is pretty cavernous and it's quite thin. As you can see, it's got, let's go this way. It's got kind of a really thin and sharp edge there. So I'm just hoping that during the playing process, it doesn't affect play too much, but we'll obviously talk about that as we move into some of the more serious play. So before we hop into footwear, we are in footwear. There is the boots. Now, these are a size 9 US and the length fits perfectly. My toe has just a little bit of space on the end, which is totally fine by me. That'll allow the leather to break in really, really nicely. And honestly, they fit pretty stinking well straight out of the box. Pretty nice sole plate as well too, with only conical studs, which means you're gonna have a really nice time, or I'm gonna have a really nice time out on this firm ground pitch with these. And hopefully they have enough responsiveness to feel good, but not so much that I feel restricted in any way. So let's get into some footwork. All right, here we go. Nice and easy up through, and really getting a feel for the sole plate and the upper and the heel area, just all the way through. Nice. Yeah, so far so good actually, which I'm kind of surprised about. The heel area in particular, like basically from halfway through up and down my foot, all the way through and around, I kind of am a little bit worried about it, but again, we'll see as we get further and further into this session. One thing that's immediately noticeable with these boots is how soft this upper with the forefoot is. The leather is amazing. So as I'm going through some of these movements, I'm getting more and more comfortable in them and very excited to see what the touch is like as well. Always a good thing when you put on a pair of boots and you're like, ooh, the touch is gonna feel so good. And to be honest, for right or for wrong, I'm sort of coming into these with a little bit of a wariness, just because I don't know actually how good these are gonna be. And that's one thing that, you know, I sort of, in the initial thoughts and the playtest short that I did, I was a little bit less than impressed. The touch is great, but I'm hoping that from some of these more rigorous types of sessions, we'll get a better sense of what they're really meant to be. The one thing though that I am excited for over some of the competition in this category, something like a Diadora, Brazil Elite Veloce ITA LPX type vibe, is that you have a really pretty seamless striking surface on that instep, which I think when you're trying to bend or whip a shot, it's not gonna feel as sort of disconnected from, you know, you have the leather and the synthetic, and you can really tell what the difference between those two materials is. First couple juggles, feels pretty good. This leather actually is really impressive. The quality on this leather, I think, is better than those Diadora boots. I think the Overall feeling is a little bit better as well, but the Diadora heel is better. And I think the Diadora, the sole plate on the Diadoras is a little bit more robust, a little bit more like, it's got a little bit more to it, right? So let's do a little bit of footwork really quick. So a little bit back and forth, obviously follow along the pattern if you want. I'm gonna go up through some cones as well, or actually maybe I'll just stay here for now, but just get a sense of what kind of pushing off is like, some lateral stability, all that stuff. Nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, decent, okay. Feeling a little bit of slippage in the heel already, which again, I was sort of expecting, but I don't know. Let's extend the drill a little bit and see if we can't get it to fail a little bit more, if you will. And you might be asking, Noah, why do you want to try to fail a football boot? Well, the whole point of a playtest is to push, let's start again, is to push a boot to its absolute limit to find out where its breaking point is. And if you don't push the boots and you don't test them, then you'll never actually know what the boots feel like in a training session or a game. And the whole point of these videos is, and my 1 month reviews after testing, is to show you, but also explain why it's so important to test and push and find the things that are wrong with boots, because otherwise you never improve, right? Umbro, as a brand who was really popular probably 40 years ago, 30 years ago, or 20 years ago even, has kind of fallen off, but you want them because it's good for everybody, because if there's better competition and it's better for everybody, then you kind of get that with critiquing. So that's why I come into every single boot, no matter if it's a GX, no matter if it's like a Nike boot, Adidas boot, Diadora, Umbro, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I'd argue I'm harder on some of the smaller brands, but the point of that is to help them iterate faster and help them improve faster. And I don't know if they're watching this. Frankly, I'm bummed if they don't, and not from an ego thing, but only because it's like, I've tried more boots than probably 99.9% of the population, and I actually understand what needs to go like into a boot to make you as the consumer watching this feel like, oh, if I'm gonna buy a pair of Umbro Tocco 6s, for example, next couple generations, I know that, you know, this feedback has been taken on board and there's things that, you know, have been done to improve the playing experience of a boot like this, right? So that's, I don't know, little rant, but rant over. Let's hop into it again. All right, little zigzag pattern. So we'll start at this end cone, little zigzag all the way around, and we'll get some nice short turns. Ooh, hello. Nice, love that. Yeah, okay, so leather feels excellent. Midfoot, pretty good, above average. Above average, there's quite a bit of lockdown there. Heel area, as I'm coming around and I'm twisting and turning, right? So turn, turn, turn. It's those little plant pivot movements that I can get quite a bit of space on the outside. Let me show you guys. Okay, so here we are. Now, look at the space here. That's an entire finger all the way on the outside. Now, I don't really feel that too much when I'm playing, because if I flex my foot like that, no space, right? Totally fine. If I do that though, that's where the gap happens all the way around the boot, and that's when you run into issues, because as I'm planting and pivoting this way, right? That's where that gap happens. All right, second little round here. Here we go. Ooh, hello, ooh, skill, nice. Short turn, all the way around, big push, lovely. Yeah, leather, I love the touch on the ball. The leather is almost made in Japan Mizuno, almost. It's got that like plushness and that kind of, I don't know. On social media recently, there's been this thing about like being demure, like this dog is demure, or it's not demure. I don't know what the hell that means. But this leather, I'm gonna say, is demure. How cool is that? Look at me hopping on trends. All right, here we go, into some shooting. I really expect to feel that difference between the leather. Not a great shot, but you get the idea, right? So really trying to get up and around it so I can whip it into that far post and really feel how seamless that leather transition is, because they've put that extra piece kind of on the, oh, get in, yes, over the line. They put that extra piece kind of on the instep, which is awesome, because that really helps with the striking surface. Lovely. And I think that's one thing that this has over the 99-gram leather boots. Frankly, even the Morelia Neo 4 Betas, because they just, get in, they just have the leather all the way through the full striking surface. So I'm not feeling like I have to adjust my shot for, you know, whatever reason, which is huge. All right, little box drill that you guys know by now, hopefully. These are awesome for wingers and stuff. I'm gonna try to tech it up a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting, and we'll get into the right foot, hopefully get some good dip. Oof, ow, that was not ideal, okay. That's all right, but still same thing. Striking surface, I think they've nailed on this one for like a leather boot that's got the combination of leather and synthetic. I am feeling quite a bit of heel slippage on these now, which is kind of a bummer. They feel pretty good, like deep down. So like kind of lower down on the heel, they feel okay, but it feels like they contact, like, let me show you. So if this is my heel and then this is the rest of my foot, it's like I can feel it down here, like on the bottom of that heel area, but then up here it feels like this is like that. Like it's not floppy, but it's like the stuff on the top side of my ankle, like towards my Achilles, which is like imaginary up here, it's like that. So it's cupping on the bottom, but then it's kind of and kind of gross on the top, which is unfortunate because that's obviously a massive part of lockdown. Not so great. All right, let's do some crossbar challenge and then we'll rock into free kicks. All right, here we go. You guys know what it is. 2 shots, that's it. Let's rock and roll. Let's go left foot first. A little bit of a clip. Oh my, that was pretty poor. All right, no worries. Little chip with the right foot. Yep. Oof. So close. Free kick time. All right, here we go. Nice and easy. 1 step up and over the wall. Here we go. Maybe through the wall. Definitely not up and over the wall, unless I'm playing against 5-year-olds, which is pretty unlikely. All right, here we go. Next one. Again, striking surface feels good. Sole plate feels a little lackluster. Can't lie, like traction doesn't feel as good as other competitors. A little bit better. Oof, a little overkill there. Last one here on the left side. But again, what's really killing it is everything from the top, like where I tie my laces, around the backside. That's really like what's kind of killing this boot for me. Really comfortable, great fit, nice sizing, and I think would actually be so good for a lot of people, but oh my days, guys, the ankle, there it is, much better. The ankle and the heel area is just not good enough. Like, I don't know what they were so good up until like back here, and then they're just, they're missing that thing, you know, they're missing that lockdown. All right, right foot. People like to say weak foot, but this is just the other side because we don't have a weak foot. No such thing as weak foot. It's just your non-dominant foot. Here we go. Again, if I was playing against 5-year-olds, great shot, but I'm not. So, and there is bird everywhere. Here we go. Next one. Again, love the striking of this one. I really like the strike, but the lockdown, ooh, that's just poor. The lockdown really affects the way that I'm planting, and that's really annoying to me. So as I'm planting, you're getting even though the forefoot is staying stuck in the ground, there's a X amount of degrees of pivot within the boot, like in the heel area. And that's just not ideal. Like that's just unacceptable, to be fair. So heel areas are one of the most important pieces in lockdown. And if you mess that up, it's really hard to come back from. Ooh, bummer. Ooh, it's over the fence. All right, let's hop into final thoughts. All right, guys, that is it for the playtest for the Umbro Tocco 4 Pro. This is a mixed bag for me for the reasons I outlined in the video. This is one of those boots that I love the quality of leather. I actually think the quality of materials, even in the synthetic part of the boot, are actually pretty good. But there are some pretty fundamental design flaws that kind of hurt this boot. And the majority of that is this massive heel that's so thin, zero. I mean, there's a little padding back here, but like the heel design is just so awkward and it's just not good enough. Like there's hardly any structure to it. As you can see, I can just like that's, you know, that's crazy. So I don't know. I'm going to continue breaking these in, continue to test them and stuff. But the heel area issue isn't just going to go away. That's something that just gets worse and worse, unfortunately, as you continue to break a pair of boots in, because obviously it gets like more and more broken in, right? My hope is that if the midfoot breaks in at all better than it is already, which it is actually quite good, it's going to allow the heel area to kind of like, I don't know, tighten up maybe a little bit. But I don't know, man. These are like, the quality of leather is so good. It's so plush. It's so soft. It really does remind me of that like made in Japan Mizuno type vibe, which is pretty impressive given this is an Umbro boot. But again, I like the burrito style tongue. I think that's kind of cool. Or it's like partially burrito style tongue because it's connected through one piece here. And then there's like a burrito style tongue there. So I guess it is technically a burrito style tongue. Anyway, I'm just logicking myself through that really quick. Thank you for bearing with me. Sole plate it's fine. Like it's pretty snappy. It's not bad from a snappiness sensation. I think these studs, even though it's technically an FG model, are probably more suited to an AG surface just because they aren't very aggressive. And I found that I didn't slip as much on this pitch because this pitch is number one dry and it's also like perfectly flat and really beautiful. But I would imagine on anything other than a perfect grass pitch like this on FG, this boot would slide all over the place and you would have very little traction on anything but a really nice FG surface. So I might recommend actually playing with these on AG, which is not something I usually say about FG boots, but here I am saying it anyway. What else do we want to discover about this boot? Sock liner feels fine. It's nothing special. There's no grip elements on it, but it does have a decent amount of padding to it and it feels fine. So no complaints there. Wasn't slipping on the bottom, partially because I have grip socks on. So that's obviously helpful. And if you do want the WeFoot grip socks, which are my favorite grip socks, you can get 20% off via the link down below or use code NOAH20. Other thoughts about this? I really want to like these boots. Like I actually really want to like these boots. And I think if they were to integrate a better synthetic material here that isn't like see-through and isn't like, I know it's shaving weight and it's, you know, whatever, but like we don't need this. Like it doesn't need to have like a window into the sole of my foot. You know what I'm saying? S-O-U-L, by the way, not S-O-L-E. So I don't know. I'm conflicted because I love everything, I really like everything from here forward. And then I think everything from here backwards is just a lack of design thought. And that's a bummer because I think Umbro really has potential with these boots given the absolute, like genuinely beautiful leather quality here in the forefoot. And the touch feels great. Pinging feels great. Striking feels great. Like all those motions feel awesome with the massive asterisks that the heel area just kind of ruins it for me. So I was sort of expecting to say that at the end of this video, but I was hopeful that I would have a little bit more to say positive about these other than the leather quality. And just the general shape. I think the shape of the boot is really nice because it's pretty neutral and it'll fit most people. But again, damn it, Umbro, come on, come on. You were so close. Hopefully Tocco 5 Pro is better than this. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on the initial playtest. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Code NOAH20 for 20% off WeFoot grip socks. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.